it's funny because this week has been I always try to be grateful, and it's not like almost grateful for the anxious week I've had because I know it's gonna mean more in the future. But it's funny because you've got a spot on. I set a goal for myself in 2026, and it's such a small goal, and I've been doing it up to this week, which is I bought an alarm clock, which I don't know if anyone can see in the background. It's over there, but it's because I want to keep my phone outside my room.
Yeah.
Until this week, it's been beautiful. Like my screen time is reduced, everything, and not even my two closest friends this week have they know it. I'm actually scared of, for some reason, being with myself. Like so,
Mm.
I've literally told them like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very scared of being myself right now. Not because like I'm like scared of like doing things, because like I don't want to even think about my own thoughts. So I've either hung out with them constantly, and when I go back home, I've told them I am breaking my rule for this week because I need to just watch YouTube until I'm literally falling asleep because I do not want to think about my thoughts at all. Like I don't want my thoughts to get near me.
You know what? I think that you are not alone. It's that is one of the hardest things is being alone with our thoughts, particularly when I think it's like if you are grappling with anxiety or you're grappling with big questions, it's like both if you don't really have the answers or if you actually feel like, oh, you know what, I do know the answer to this, but I don't really want to face it. And so one of the things that I lay out in the book that can be helpful is if you're kind of dealing with anxiety or you're trying to um, you have some you have some desire to like seek certainty in some area of your life. I lay out just some practical guidance for starting a questions practice. And the way to think about this is like it's like a meditation practice or a yoga practice, but it's just some time that you can take to get to know those questions that are maybe driving your anxiety a little bit better, and start to think about like, are those the right questions and how do you figure that out? And so in those moments where you're like, I don't want to be alone with my thoughts, they're kind of all over the place, it can be a helpful kind of way of organizing it and way of just kind of at least having a little bit of a prompt, to get you going.
Because I think what I'm realizing is we're always gonna be there's always things that we can be uncertain of because there's so much in this world that we can be uncertain of whether it's long term or short term. At what point? Because I was talking to one of my friends yesterday and I remember when he was giving me advice, he was like, hey, like don't force any decisions yet, just wait and see what happens. I was like, you know what, you're right. At what point does a question almost become a must answer? Because it's all well and good in my case where I don't let the universe decide, but I gotta take myself out of the situation to truly assess what's going on because when you're in the situation, you're gonna be biased and your head is gonna be spinning. But at what point do you put yourself back in the situation and say, I gotta take action?
Totally. You're pointing to one of the most important kind of dichotomies, that I write about, which is that, how do you balance patience and courage?
Exactly. That's all it is. Yeah.
Totally. And I think it really is going to differ for each person. But one of the, I write in the book about the kind of science and the art and science of patience and kind of why this like practice of patience has really fallen out of style in, recent years. And how does, cultivating patience actually correlate to, being better at achieving our goals, because there is a lot of science that links that, together, and that people that are more patient are actually more likely to follow through on their goals even when barriers come up and life gets in the way. But then you can be too patient, right? Like you can just sit and avoid, coming to a decision. And so that's where courage comes into play. And I think, as far as this question of when do you really need to act, I I think that it's a question that each person ultimately needs to pose to themselves. And so I think it's like, you know, maybe when you're at the start of asking a particular question, you part of your reflection is, okay, when am I going to know when to act? So you have this kind of like central question, and then you're also trying to give yourself a little bit of grounding in what's the information that I'm looking for in order to know, okay, I have enough of an answer that I can move forward, I can make a decision. Because ultimately, you're probably not going to have total certainty or total clarity, but what's the threshold, right? And so, depending on the type of decision you're trying to make, or kind of the uncertainty that you're grappling with, that's going to be different. And sometimes you can actually get that information from the world And sometimes it's more of like a somatic thing, right? Like it's more felt in your body. And, I think about the difference between knowing that I should make a career change versus knowing I should break up with someone. And those are totally different ways of knowing, and totally different sources of information that you're bringing in. But I think it's about reflecting for you on what's that threshold, what's that kind of tipping point for you where you're gonna know. And for me, sometimes when it's a relationship or something that's really personal, it's as much about like a knowing in my body versus something that I'm like writing out a pros and cons list, right? And I'm doing so it's like that combination of the rational and the, I don't want to say irrational because it's completely rational, but kind of using like your felt experience as a guide too, which is something that I don't know about you, has been very hard for me as somebody that like feels really comfortable intellectually, and has had to get more comfortable with what is my body trying to tell me.
Oh, dude, I'm the exact same way. Like I only try to like focus on. I don't even know how to say it. Like you're right. It's just like I'm very reluctant to listen to my body, and I guess especially this week when like the anxiety's been adding up. It sounds like I'm actually having like a traumatic breakdown. It's not what's going on. It's just that like stuff is piling up, and like your body
Yeah.
starts acting in so many different ways, and I'm like I don't know what's going on. Yo, if you like that, then you're gonna like this, the full episode. Come on, you know you want to click it. Come on. All right. Well, if you're not gonna click that, you might as well subscribe.